When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Within the gaming world, there are your general gamers, but then there are those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming. If you're one of those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming, we certainly got the place to send you. Scorpion Lair Games. That's right, Scorpion Lair Games is the creators of the true crime hit Killers, the card game. Let's not forget they also have Killers Clothing Company, their profiler game, and things like the 5-Minute Murder channel on YouTube. And we certainly can't forget the new book that is certainly a hit, Beyond the Headliners, True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. Make sure you visit Jeff and the Scorpion Lair Games on Facebook and everywhere today.
Hey, this is Tom Hughes, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this next guest is from Wales in the UK and certainly has worn many hats. After working as a camera assistant, behind-the-scenes photographer, and a data wrangler on both TV and indie features, he has started his own production company called Ritual Video, which specializes in genre films and music videos for metal bands. He has a new film out called Foxhollow, which is his first found footage feature and was released by POV Horror and Cult Media Film Store. Let's welcome writer, director, and actor Tom Hughes.
Hello.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
All right, so as we said in said intro, this next guest has a new independent film out there, I should say, Foxhollow. And give a little description of Foxhollow. Tom is a struggling filmmaker that is hired to make a a nature documentary by a local. And once they pair up to do the project and get deep in the woods, their film developed into a desperate fight for survival. And we have with us, like I said in the intro, writer, director, and even star of the film, Mr. Tom Hughes. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Right on. And I will give credit to A&B Horror Movies again for the recommendation. So, what's the response been? How you feeling about Foxhollow? We'll start
Yeah,
there.
it's been good, man. It's been good so far. It's just come out on POV Horror now, so streaming on their website. That was like kind of last week, so kind of end of November, start of December. It came out digitally. Um, and we're working on getting it on other platforms now. So hopefully January it's going to be on other platforms too. So it should go wider than it currently is. Like it's only on the one website now. Should go on other platforms too. And we're also working on another physical release as well. I did a physical release because I did a crowdfund. Um, Not to make the film, I financed it myself, shot it, finished the film, and then did like a crowdfund just to release it, just to do Blu-rays myself.
Right on.
Uh,
Well, that's an interesting thing there. What are your thoughts with the changes in technology with what you do, but also releasing things like Fox Hollow? You know, some say physical medium's dead, but then others I see are big proponents of physical media. So where do you fall
yeah,
with this?
I love I love physical media because I grew up with VHS and collecting VHS and renting and it's how I saw horror for the first time, you know. It's yeah, so it's a big thing to me. I For me, like I really like kind of underground films and like no budget films or cult stuff. So with the things that I'm going to be making, it's important to me to have a physical release for everything that I'm doing. Even like I've got plans next year with the new feature I'm doing to do like VHS of it because it's shot on VHS. So yeah, I definitely love it and love collecting and want to make things that other collectors can buy and enjoy, you know.
Absolutely. So what was the interest in going this direction for your first feature? And this falls under the, I guess, category of found footage. But
Yeah.
what made you go that direction?
It's a genre I've always really enjoyed. Like I've been really into it for a really long time. It's a type of film I wanted to make for a long time. And also, you know, I'm broke, man. I haven't got any money. I don't have a budget to go make a film. So it's like, um, it's for all the shit that it gets from people, it is one of the only genres that you can create without much of a budget. You can act in yourself, you can use your friends and people you know, and you can, as long as you kind of get the style of it right, I feel like you can kind of compete on the same level as everybody else making found footage. So people with 10, 20 grand or 50 grand found footage films, you know, you can make something that people could hope like not compete in a competitive way, but kind of stand up with, you know what I mean, and enter the same arena of found footage features and hopefully have it be something that people enjoy the same as they enjoy like Blair Witch or even something like Exists, you know, that he did after Blair Witch with like a really big budget, you know.
Absolutely. So with wearing multiple hats, as I've said,
Yeah.
intro and everything else, how are you feeling with with Fox Hollow, acting, directing, worrying about tech stuff,
Yes.
you're dancing around and doing multiple things. So how was that
Yeah.
for you? And do you see yourself going that direction again?
Yeah. So I started off as a camera assistant like a decade ago, working on other people's films and on like TV stuff and whatever. When I started shooting my own stuff, it was to make horror and make weird shit. But then when COVID happened, I had to start shooting and lighting and doing sound and everything myself because I still needed to make like my job is like making music videos for metal bands. That's kind of what I do to keep myself going. And yeah, when COVID happened, I had to start doing all those jobs myself. So I kind of got used to it and then didn't really want to go back to larger crews. I like shooting with just me and an actor or me and two actors. It's more work for me, obviously. And things do suffer sometimes because I'm trying to keep track of too many things at once. You know, things might not be framed perfectly, or the sound might suffer. So it is something that I'm trying to find more of a balance with now. Like I'm doing it again right now, actually. I've just finished shooting my second feature, which is another found footage, but more of a documentary style. Um, and that's I've been shooting that for the last year since like last November. And that I did everything again. I acted it again, was the lead and did all the sound and shot it all and everything. And I feel like on that one, on Foxhollow, I kind of was like, oh, okay, this works. I can do this. I just need to get better at doing it. And then with my next one now, I feel like I've got kind of better again. So I think like doing Foxhollow's definitely opened up kind of the direction I wanted to go with how to make no budget features where I live and with kind of limited resources and still be able to like make the best thing I can, you know?
Well, there was rumblings that I had heard that you might not like working with larger crews. Was that because
Mm.
COVID hit, or why? What's the theory behind that?
It's honestly it's because I'm autistic and I can't deal with all the input at once. Like I get stressed. If there's too many people talking at once, I get stressed. I do well with one-on-one,
Okay.
but like working on other people's crews as well, I'd always find I was just exhausted all the time. Like I'd work 10, 12 hours in a day and then hang out with everybody in the evening because you're usually staying in the same house all together if you're shooting in blocks the way films are normally made. And I don't know, that way of doing things just it gave me no downtime to be able to think. And I felt overwhelmed a lot of the time, you know what I mean? So when I paid it back, it was so I could get the best out of myself and also to not burn myself out, I guess. Like I also shoot really short days. I shot yesterday and it was like I think maybe 5 hours. Um I kind of block all the characters scenes into a day. So in one day I'll meet one person and I'll shoot all their scenes for the whole film. And then like obviously like drip feed them throughout the edit then when I edit it. And like that way of working means that I can do decent work without being too tired and also only have to deal with one person at a time usually, which is like a lot easier than I think what it was, to be honest with you, is when you start directing, you think of, I don't know, James Cameron or something, or you think of like Kubrick or and these big sets and all these people and all this money and all these things. And then the more I've done it, the more I just realized that it's really the thing you've got as a filmmaker is your style and your tone and the way you make stuff. That's what you've got to offer, really. So you need to do things that mean you can do that as well as you can. And for me, that means not having too many people around so I can concentrate on getting the stuff that I need in the way that I need it. Because I'm always editing in my head as I'm
Hmm.
shooting. So I'm cutting in my head and I'm obviously paying attention to takes as they're being done, but I'm also usually acting in those takes at the same time. So my brain is acting, and then I'm also going, okay, the first half of that was good. I need to redo it again so I can get the second half and whatever, you know, my director's brain's going at the same time. So yeah, I think it was just finding a way that works for me good, you know.
Yeah, it's funny. There's two things there, and I'll start with the later. Uh, I block out when I do the regular episodes or special. I've been starting to do some video specific episodes
Yeah.
for the show in 13 and a half years here. And I look at it the same way as filmmaking. And you kind of said it there without saying it, but I treat it as like conversation and others like it. It's I block it out in three spots. There's the pre-production, Once I
Yeah,
got somebody booked, it's the actual conversation that we're having. Then it's the post production, getting the episode out and all that. So, I mean, I got that same wheelhouse. That's the philosophy I work with.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you're like right now, I'm sitting here editing in my head, going, okay,
yeah,
remember this, remember that key spot,
yeah,
just like little
yeah, yeah,
details. And
yeah,
but you mentioned about the being autistic,
yeah.
and it's something that somebody said to me a long time ago, and that fit my boat for different reasons and whatever. Not going to get into it now, but what they were saying to me is, do you find so I excuse me. So I'll ask you what they asked me. Do you find yourself more creative than, say, the average Joe because of your abilities or whatever you want to call it?
I'd say I think the main thing you might be able to get, or that I get, because it's different for everyone, but I suppose
Mhm.
looking at things outside of the box, thinking outside of the box, and also not feeling as pressured to have a normal uh, job or life, or the things that are important to me aren't necessarily important to like average kind of people that I know or friends that I have who say work in an office and have a family and do the job and go on holiday every year, and that's what they do and they're happy with that. For me, I'm always in some strange creative space and obsessing over projects and like those are the things that are important to me, I guess. So I suppose it does help you not beat yourself up so much because you're not doing what the average person is doing, because you have a word for what makes your brain different and what makes you different as a person. But the main thing I think is given to me, having the diagnosis and knowing who I am and how I work is, I stopped trying to work in a way that I saw other filmmakers work in, and just found a way that I can work comfortably without trying to be something I'm not?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
with Foxhollow, how did you go about finding the right locations, but also possibly losing things as nightfall happened and stuff?
The the locations are close to where I live. Everything that I shoot is shot in South Wales where I live, and it's like pretty important to me to make like Welsh films shot in local areas around Wales, where I'm from. So the woods that we shot Foxhollow in, I used to live in that town, so it's in a place called Blaenavon in the Valleys. I lived there for 2 years. I worked there and I walked through those woods. I know them really well. That's important to me, is knowing the locations that I'm shooting, so that when I'm writing specifically for locations that I know, and I can block the scenes in on in like at the scripting stage as I'm writing, knowing, okay, I need somebody to run down a bank in and then go and hide behind a big tree. I know where that is. And if I do my camp close enough to that, then I can have them leave camp and go in straight into that scene without having to move. Just little things like that, like how to use the space kind of more like economically. So it helped me a lot. And all the places that we shot were pretty much places that I knew, or Paul, the guy who plays Trapper, like we shot by where he lives in Merthyr, and that was again using something that he was really comfortable with, that he could go, okay, here's a river we can cross. Up here is where we can do this scene. Up here is where we can do this scene. And we just kind of linked together all these places that we knew, to try and create like the world. And the other locations, the places where I interviewed people, I just got really lucky. The PI's office is a music recording studio and practice space where I shoot bands in my day job. Sometimes I'll shoot a band performing. I know the guys there, they let me use their office to shoot his scene. And the interview scene with Sarah, the park ranger, that was shot where she works, in the Millennium Center. She just managed to swing the place once it had closed one evening, and we went there for a few hours, and yeah, used that. It's kind of the Robert Rodriguez thing of just using what you have available to you.
Yeah, and that I was actually going to bring it up, but you already answered that question, which is great. But You know, was that also a good thing financially? Because you're dancing with a limited budget, so you tried to film locations local to everybody.
Yeah, and it was such a low budget that it was like I couldn't travel anywhere, I couldn't put anybody up anywhere. It all had to be shot really kind of locally, and it had to be like cost effective for people to come. Like I could cover people's travel and transport and expenses and things, but like I couldn't pay them much at all, and I didn't have any spare money while I was making it. So it was one of those things that everything had to be stripped back as much as possible.
Hmm.
Um, Even the cameras that I'm using, I'm using a vlogging camera. It's like a Sony ZV-1. It was like 500 quid that I bought to shoot weddings because I used to shoot weddings a few years ago. Um, and the action cams are like they're not proper GoPros, they're like knockoff action cams off eBay,
Hmm.
so like all the equipment is like really basic and really cheap as well, but there's something about squeezing yourself a little bit. I think you just get the absolute basics of what you could make something with, and gear that works well enough but isn't overly complicated, or you don't need a big crew to operate it, and then you just see what you can do with kind of hardly anything. I enjoy
Absolutely.
that. I like that.
Yeah. Now, apparently, rumor has it, because we know everything online is true, that you have an original cut closer to 90 minutes and features and different things, but you saved those for the Blu-ray. So was that kind of the game plan, or?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that there's another cut that's longer. It was that I had to find the film in the edit for like a year and a half because I scripted it too loosely, like way too loosely. So the part of the because I hadn't acted in anything before, really. Part of my game plan for the acting was to really loosely get beats where we needed to head for each scene, but not script it. So I didn't know what Paul was going to say, and he didn't know what I was going to say at any point, really, so that my performance wouldn't ruin his, basically, because he's a really good actor. I was like, if I actually am genuinely bouncing off him and surprised by what he's doing or saying, that would be good. But because of that approach, we ended up with a lot of stuff that didn't work. We ended up with a lot of stuff that, even though the scenes were decent and like there was good bits in it, when you cut it into the film, it didn't quite flow right. It slowed down the pace too much, or it just didn't quite work. And I think since then I've started scripting things tighter, so I know what's happening in each scene, and I've got dialogue for each scene, and I know how things are starting and ending, and how things are having that knock-on effect to the story in each scene, and how it's affecting the story. So the thing about the Blu-rays is it was meant to be 90 minutes. The film was meant to be 90 minutes. It ended up being like an hour, but it wasn't because I saved anything for the Blu-rays. It was just because I had to cut a bunch of stuff that wasn't quite
It didn't fit the
working.
story, what you're trying to tell.
Yeah, it just it kept killing the pace, I think. Um, because I was trying, because it was also shot over a period of 2 years. So we'd do one scene and it would be, say, upbeat, and then we do another scene and it would be more morose or slower or whatever, because we'd shot it a year and a half later. Um, and then having to put those two things together then like worked sometimes and didn't work other times. So I kept all the edited scenes that didn't make it into the film. Paul did some really good monologues as Trapper with stories of him growing up, and there was some more character stuff as well. I think there was some more arguments between us, and I put those on the special features on the Blu-ray. That's what it was with the discs. I just didn't want to bin them.
Yeah, no, totally get that. Now, I heard your co-writer Amy Jones actually deserves the credit for designing the costume. It was, now, mind you, from what I heard, it was a gorilla suit that
Yeah,
she
that's what
had
it was.
changed things, and things were changed and whatnot. So what actually happened here?
So Amy's my partner. She helped me write the film because I was obviously obsessing over it in the house the whole time. uh, so she helped me write it because I was bouncing ideas off her anyway. And then once we knew it was going to be a Bigfoot film, I wanted a costume, but I couldn't afford a good costume, so I just I kind of knew that I couldn't show it much anyway, like you're not going to be able to show it really, and it's not going to be as scary if you show it. I don't think it's kind of scary if you just,
Kind of like a Jaws thing.
yeah, you're just looking into shadows, and that's scarier than me showing you even a really good Bigfoot costume, I would say. I'd rather not show much anyway. But just because I knew we would be catching it every now and again in Torchlight, she did modify a gorilla costume I bought by sewing long hair onto it and different colored hair. And like actually we got lucky because the head of the costume had this elongated forehead that was kind of like the Bigfoot from Harry and the Hendersons height, you know what I mean? So like when she
Hmm.
cut the hair back, it elongated the forehead, which made it look more Bigfooty. She painted it. Yeah, she did all the design stuff on it. Like I can do the kind of technical side of filmmaking, but I can't do uh props very well. I can't do costumes very well. I lose things all the time. I'm so concentrated on making sure the camera's okay and the performance is okay. I forget that my shirt might not match the previous shot, or like, you know what I mean? Like little things in the frame, you might notice things where the continuity is out. That's where I could actually do with like a script supervisor or somebody to come with me, just to be like, oh, Tom, there's a carrier bag behind that tree you need to move just in case you catch it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Amy did a lot, man. She did the poster as well because she's a tattooist, so she drew the poster. Um, and yeah, she was in the costume as well, so she played Bigfoot in the film. Um, yeah, and was kind of running around the woods at night with me.
Well, since you said she's a tattooist, since we're off subject here a little bit, I tend to do that once in a while. I saw you had some on your hands and whatnot. Is she your
Yeah,
personal tattoo artist or?
yeah, she's now, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting like a cryptid leg sleeve at the moment. So I got like a
Okay.
Bigfoot tattoo after I finished Foxhollow. I've got like aliens sucking us up on my knee, like us two and our dog, like going up into a beam of light in a UFO, like a
Nice.
Mothman tattoo. I got a Frogman tattoo a few months ago, so I'm filling up my leg with like creatures at the moment.
Yeah, I just had my first one done at a horror show a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
Uh, so a little more personal, but it's cool because people know the logo. If they see
Oh,
it, I'll
that's
send you
cool.
a picture of it when we're done. But
Nice.
if anybody happens to be in Wales, look up Amy Jones.
Yes.
That's for sure. But apparently, with the costume, there were some scenes that you couldn't really shoot fully, like a cross camera deal, because part of the costume may have been forgotten, like the head. What happened with
Oh,
that?
yeah, we did forget that. What the one day, I think it was the first day we went to do a night shoot, and this was kind of towards the end of the whole shooting. I think we had shot in autumn with Paul and started doing that, and then the following year I added the talking head stuff because that wasn't in there originally. It was originally just going to be mine and Paul's found footage. There wasn't going to be a park ranger or a PI character, but I added those in. And then we went back to the woods the following autumn and had to do all the night stuff and got there to start shooting all the Bigfoot things. And we were into shooting, like we'd done a decent amount of stuff because there's like shots where I put the camera down and then I'm going up a tree to get something and her legs are coming past, We like started doing those things and then went to do some full things and she hadn't brought that, like she was wearing the costume and then just hadn't brought the head. Um, yeah, so we had to go back up there again and finish that stuff off with the head and some kind of reflective tape in the eyes to catch like eye shine because I wanted it to have like eye shine like a real animal, which she found quite difficult to wear actually because they completely blocked out the eyes. So she was just kind of in complete darkness in the woods and
I can't see you. I can't see you.
yeah,
Where
like
am I gonna?
it freaked her out a little bit.
Yeah. Uh, so I got a couple more for you, sir. Thank you for the time. And
Yeah.
where, why would Fox Hollow to put a bow in it, the movie at least? Why would you recommend people watching Fox Hollow? I know this is personally close to you for many reasons, but why do you recommend this movie?
Um, I'd say if you're a fan of kind of low budget filmmaking and people making something out of nothing, then it might be interesting to you. If you like cryptids or Bigfoot, uh, then hopefully it'll be a Bigfoot film with um, enough nods to the stories that people have said about Bigfoot over the years, and hopefully there's enough stuff in there for people who are actually into kind of cryptozoology or Bigfoot to be interested in and know that it's made by someone who loves Bigfoot and has done the research for years, and it's actually something that I'm into and I care about. Um, and yeah, I guess just people who like found footage, and appreciate people going out and making something for the love of like horror and weird monsters.
Absolutely. Now, and we'll show or tell people where they can go see it as well. Like you said, it's out on POV horror and
Yeah,
all that right now. But
yeah,
I'm curious to know, you have Ritual Video, which is your
yeah,
production company. You do genre films, and a lot of your work, you said earlier, is music videos for metal bands.
yeah,
So
man.
what led you to going that direction?
Well, I've always been a metalhead. I've always really liked music videos. I grew up at the time where MTV2 was big in the UK. And just at a time where music videos were cool, like in the late 90s, there was like Michelle Gondry was doing the White Stripes videos. The Aphex Twin music videos like were always amazing, and like Spike Jones was doing a lot of music video stuff. Like they were really cool music video directors that influenced me a lot. Like even like the old Cradle of Filth music videos, like A Ghost in the Fog and stuff like that influenced me a lot and made me want to make music videos. And then I kind of started doing it because I was playing in bands and wanted to make stuff for myself. Um, and then yeah, I've ended up I started doing it locally around Wales and the UK, and now I do it remotely for bands all over the place, really. I shoot narrative short films most of the time for bands. Um, a lot of black metal bands, so a lot of kind of occult stuff, witches in the woods kind of things. And sometimes they send me performance footage as well, and I cut that in with the story stuff that I shoot. It's good. It's been tough the last year because AI's kind of taken over. People can have access to music video uh, I fucking hate the word, but content a lot easier now than they used to, which means that kind of the amount of videos that I do in a year has just been cut in half this year. So I think it's going to be harder to support myself doing that as a job.
Yeah,
But it's been a really great kind of learning curve for how to work with actors, how to do stuff to deadline on budget, and making the most out of kind of limited resources. So I think it's kind of helped me become at least an adequate filmmaker so I can then go and try and make my features.
absolutely. Now, I guess final question for you is about being from the UK and Wales in
Yeah.
particular. What makes it different doing what you do over there compared to what we do in the States, let's say, as far as production and all that other song and
Yeah.
dance?
I think, I mean, I haven't shot anything in the States. I've got friends who've shot things in the States, and I don't imagine that no budget run and gun production, the way I make films, is too different, apart from there is less access here to public land or say abandoned buildings or things that you could just go and use that are ready made for you to kind of take advantage of as a no budget filmmaker. So that's more difficult. The pool of people uh, who are willing to do stuff basically for no money and for the love of kind of films and or invest their time in you as a director just starting like I am. Um, that comes with challenges, but also you meet people locally that like believe in you and want to help you make something good. And I think like for me, following through on what I say I'm going to do and actually finishing things, releasing things, and treating people with respect and stuff helps because it's such a small scene in Wales. everyone knows each other, all the actors know each other, and they'll tell each other, work with this person, don't work with this person. So there's a lot less of a like the playing field is narrowed, so you need to be kind of as decent a person as you can as a filmmaker and not take advantage of people and stuff, because word will get around and nobody will work
Yeah.
with you, kind of thing.
It's just definitely a small community.
Yeah, and as far as like the actual underground filmmaking community in Wales, it exists, but it's not huge. It's kind of disparate people in different parts of the country, and there's a large like commercial production thing kind of locally to where I live in Cardiff, but the barriers to entry for people trying to make something original or horror, horror's looked down upon. Anything transgressive is looked down upon. It all has to be very clean, uh, with like some kind of social message or whatever. It's the type of stuff that I think sucks. That's the type of stuff that gets money and gets produced, and you get help to make. Um, which for me hasn't been a bad thing really, because it's just kind of given me the fire under my ass to go, okay, well, I'm just going to go make my weird stuff in this corner. um, and the internet is amazing, isn't it? Because I can be in a small country like Wales that people can't even point to on a map, a lot of them, or don't know that it's part of the UK. They think it's England, which it isn't. And I can put out, I can speak to people like you, and I can put out my films online.
And I do, I can't speak for everybody, know where Wales is, excuse me, because I have some Welsh in my father's side of the family. So
Oh, that's
obviously
cool.
I kind of have to know where things are on a map. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but where can people find you, sir? And where can they find everything that you do, whether it's the production company, this film, things you're coming up? Where can people go to see what's going on in your world?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. It's ritual_video. You can stream Foxhollow now, which is my first feature, and that's on povhorror.com. That'll be on other websites soon. And I'm also in production on two new features as well. Another found footage film, which is more of a documentary, and a really crazy superhero B movie shot on VHS. And both of those are going to be coming out hopefully by next summer. And I'll be posting news kind of on my Ritual Video account as they wrap up and as like they get released and stuff.
Tom, thank you so much for the time, sir.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Hey folks, looking for the ultimate destination for the nerd enthusiasts and collectors? Well, we found the spot for you. Nerds Nest Collectibles is a haven for nerds, geeks, and fans alike, as they have many different products and certainly more to come. Make sure you go ahead and visit them at nerdsnestcollectibles.com. Check them out.
This is Dan Yeager, Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw 3D. You're listening to Crazy Train Radio.